We're going to do some more converting between fractions, decimals and percentages. Okay, so the first one, 0.4 as a percentage is 40%. As a fraction, that's, I don't need to write that, 4/10, and that is 2/5. 35% or 35% as a decimal is straightforward. 35% is 0.35. 35% as a fraction, well, let's write exactly what it is. 35 out of 100, that's what 35% means. So we can divide top and bottom by 5. So 35 divided by 5 is 7. And 100 divided by 5, so that's 10 divided by 5, which is 2 7/20. 3/4, I think we should probably just be happy to remember that one. 3/4 is 0.75, and that is 75%. 0.64, well, that's 64%. It's fairly straightforward to convert. Now 0.64 literally means 64 100ths. 64 100ths. Why don't we convert that to 32 50ths, and we can divide by 2 again, which gives 16 out of 25. Of course, we could have divided by 4 from the start. 78% is 0.78. So 78% is 78 divided by 100. That's what 78% means. 78 per 100. If we divide top and bottom by 2, that gives 39 over 50. Now 5/8 is a fraction that I think we just need to learn how to do this. So our 1/8 is 0.125. So 5/8 is 5 times that, and that gives us 0.625. And that's fairly straightforward to convert into a percentage, because we've got the decimal 0.625, and that is 62.5%. So this idea here of 1/8 is 0.125 is worth remembering. If we can't remember it, another way of doing it is 1/4 is 0.25, and therefore 1/8 is half of that, which is 0.125. Okay, now there's some more tricky ones here actually. Okay, so 0.015, so that's as a percentage. Notice we just move the decimal place 2 places to the right, or we move the digits 2 places to the left, depending on how you've been taught that. So that's 1.5%. So that literally means 15 1/1000ths. So let's divide, that needs to be simplified, so let's divide by 5, which gives us 3. Divide by that 5 gives us 2 3 200ths. 17.5% as a decimal, 0.175, that's no problem. So that means it is 175 over 1000. Again, it's clear that both are divisible by 5. How many times does 5 go into 175? Goes in 35 times. And then 5s into that go 200. It's still divisible by 5, so let's divide by 5 again, which gives us 7 and 7/40. So divided by 5 and divided by 5 again, which means we could have divided by 25 from the start. So we could have just done how many times does 25 go into 175? 7 times. How many times does 25 go into 1000? Goes into it 40 times. 2/3, again, is probably just one of these worth remembering. it's 0.6666 and it's recurring, and we would write that as 0.6 with a dot on top. So as a percentage, that's 66.666, and that is 66.6 recurring. 2.05 is just 205%. As a fraction, that's going to be 2 and 5/100ths. Now, that's the tenths column, that's 100ths column, so it's 2 and 5/100ths. That can be simplified. Divide by 5, so it gives us 1 on the top, gives us 22 and 1/20ths. 137.5% is 1.375. Now in my previous video I showed how to get 0.375. Just to remind you, 1/4 is 0.25, so 1/8 is 0.125, and we can see from that that 3/8 is 0.375. So in fact this is 1 and 3/8. And again, it's probably just worth being able to recognize that. So 5/9, 1/9 is 0.1111 recurring. 2/9 is 0.2222 recurring. So in fact 5/9 is 0.5555, which is 0.5 recurring. And that will always be the pattern. And 0.5 recurring is 0.5555 and so on, which gives us as a percentage 55.5 recurring.